Welcome to the show, people of the world. My name is Kyle Spain, and I am your host of Thought Provoked, and I am joined today with some brothers of mine. This is a collaboration, joined again with my brother from another, Sean Hanlon of the Release Valve, and we got a special guest here, Corey Whitfield of Elevate with Sage. Proud to be here. What's going on, gentlemen? How you guys doing?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Excited, man. I'm excited. Juices are flowing. I've been getting ready for this for a while now, and I'm feeling good. So yeah, I'm excited to get this going.
Yeah, man. So, Corey, man. So, we got to talking, about a week and a half ago, and we ended up, God works in some mysterious ways, right? And it's all about connecting and stuff like that. And we ended up hitting it off with some of the topics that we were talking about. And man, you told me that you had a podcast and Elevate with Sage. So, talk to us a little bit about Elevate with Sage, why you got started with the podcast, and how you came up with the name.
Well, I mean, it's like when I started just becoming aware of just changing like who I was, like my ways, my beliefs, the way I just kind of grew up, like the things I went through, like the things that shaped and molded my mind. It was just like an awakening. And so sometimes when like in the past, like our ancestors, if they wanted to clear energy, like what they do is, light up sage and they clear the energy out the room. It was like an ancient practice for a long time, and that just kind of stuck with me. And so it was me. That's what I was doing. I was just really like clearing the energy, like from my life, all the negative energy, all the negative beliefs, and all that from my life, and it just kind of stuck with me. So I was going on a journey where I'm trying to elevate my mindset. I'm trying to just change and just be a new person, reinvent myself. And I just had to kind of clear out a lot of old stuff first before I started allowing, new things to pour in. And so that's where Sage came. But to be honest, man, Sage was a persona because I thought like so messed up for so long, and I didn't think that people would believe, me, as the new version of myself that I was trying to become. So I hid behind Sage, and I'm actually just going through a complete rebrand right now, and I'm putting myself forward. So like everything from Elevate with Sage is now I'm going to be like Evolve with Core, and I just didn't want to hide behind that persona anymore, and I just wanted to just be my true authentic self. And if somebody see me and don't believe me, okay, that's fine. It's their beliefs. I believe in me now, and I stand behind my brand, proudly at this point.
Man, that's heavy. Hey, when you said that, it gave me chills because, man, you're not the only one, bro, who suffers behind that imposter syndrome, right? Sean and I, we talk about this. We talk about this all the time, and I even had like that one poem I came out with some months ago, just talking about imposter syndrome, and we all feel, that, especially when we're diving into something new and trying to upgrade our identity. People like to keep us where we're at, and that's one of the sayings that stuck with me. And so, even for me as a basketball player, it's like, well, who's going to want to hear me talk about, mindset growth? And people know me as a basketball player. They don't know me as, Kyle the podcaster or whatever. So, I mean, we completely get with you as far as like that identity shift, and as far as like, okay, well, this is not that person. Like, what are you over here talking about? This is what you're supposed to be doing. And people tend to do that, man. So they don't understand the identity shift and upgrading your identity, and understanding that the experiences that we go through is what creates our story and what builds us, man. So that's heavy. I got chills when you said that.
Yeah, no, me too, man. I completely related to everything that you were saying. Like we said, we talked about it before, especially where we grew up in the Bay Area. There was a lot of egos and a lot of trying to live up to certain expectations that others had for us and stuff, and, trying to live life a certain way. I like the saying that you're a product of your environment. And when you're in a certain environment surrounded by certain type of people, you act in certain type of ways in order to keep up with what you think the flow is with everybody else. And once you're removed from that, and then you look back on it, and I like how you said, maturity was definitely a big part of it, because I can relate to that too. That was a big part for me. Once I was removed from that certain area around those certain people, and I had time to really go through things, grow through things. What you go through, you grow through.
Absolutely.
And it definitely allowed me to start looking back at how I used to respond to things or how I used to act. And I'm like, man, what the hell was I doing? Like, why was I trying to keep up that facade? Because that's not at all how I really feel about things. That's not at all how I really want to act. And it's crazy, man. I think maturity is definitely a big part of it, but it's the mindset that comes with that, right? It's not even necessarily maturity, because if you're not having that time to self-reflect and look at yourself and the things that you're doing, thinking, feeling, you can kind of fall back into those same cycles. But if you have that mindset, that growth mindset, it allows you to kind of assess that for what it used to be and where you're at now, right?
Right.
Yeah. Man, so it's crazy because you asked me about some a couple of topics that you wanted to talk about, and I gave you a couple, not realizing that you had already hit some of those topics on your podcast or getting to listen to it. Man, again, God is always behind the scenes and in the works, and putting the opportunities and the resources in front of you or in your path that's going to be conducive to your next level, right, and conducive to the next stage of life or your next phase of life. And, I want to talk about energy, because you talked a lot about that in your most recent podcast, about limiting access and keeping your circle tight. And, like, address that a little bit, because this is one of the big factors that I know I've come to realize of, if you want to show me your future, show me who your circle is, or show me your 5 friends, or whatever the case is. So, share with us what how you feel the importance is in exercising that to developing your identity, developing your future and success.
Well, I feel like when it comes to energy with me, I just had to learn how to be still, right? I had to learn how to embrace silence. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like you have to just quiet the noise, because if you can't just quiet the noise around you, then you don't have time to get in touch with yourself to even realize, what you need around you or what you don't need around you. And sometimes you can be blinded by like what's good for you, or you can miss out on something, an opportunity, because you just had bad energy. And so I just feel like if you just don't like get in touch with yourself to just kind of, find out where you're supposed to go, then you could be lost in the sauce, and then you can end up being around people who don't benefit you in any kind of way. And I always tell my kids, or even people that I talk to, like, if you hang around 5 broke, survival mode, minded people, man, you're gonna be number 6. But if you surround yourself by somebody around, put yourself in a circle with people that's living a life or striving to live the life that you want to live, and then like when energies start bonding together, it's just like you can elevate each other. Like
Absolutely.
it's just all about the company you keep. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's just I don't know. And when you start realizing like, hey, this is not good for me, or that's not good for me, or this person that I've been hanging on to so long, it's just not aligning anymore. And then you kind of you just kind of get a little distant, and you get to yourself, and you just start becoming in tune with yourself. You start knowing yourself, and then it's like you start reinventing the whole mind frame on your own. It's just like it just starts working on its own, and that can be like a really, really lonely road. But during that time, you just have to really, really trust the process. And that's just what I feel about energy. You have to really just trust the process. The more you can quiet your mind, the more you can become in touch with who you really are, the more you allow yourself to just, self-discovery. The more you can allow it, I just feel like the more you'll grow, and the more you'll realize, like, hey, you'll just start feeling like this just don't feel right. And And that's just what it is. And I just like to take the stoic approach, like listen twice as much as you talk. And you'll just start learning a whole lot more. And so that's just how I feel about that. And I don't know if I got like specifically what you were saying, but when I just hear energy, like all that comes to mind to me,
Absolutely, man. I mean, I was, that completely aligns with everything that we talk about. Sean developed a release valve as a means to provide a platform. I don't mean to talk to Sean or speak for Sean, but he started the release valve as a platform for people to come on here and to talk about what they're going through, to talk about the stories and the struggles that we all go through, because we all share similar experiences, and hitting that release valve is what we always talked about, is to get it out, so it's not in our bodies building that toxins. And I started Thought Provoked for this exact reason of what you're talking about as far as energy, because energy is influential, right? Whatever stimulates your mind provokes a thought. And that's why it's important for who you hang around with, what you're watching and what you're listening to, because every word provokes a thought. And with that thought, behind it is emotion. And it's important to be mindful of what you're putting into your mind, because like we talked about, are we elevating each other, or are we talking about mindset growth? Are we talking about trying to elevate, right? Trying to elevate our game and, right. and to level up. So that's exactly the question or response that I was looking for. Sean, do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, you said it well, and I wanted to piggyback a little bit off of what you said. I'm gonna speak for you a little bit now, talking about what you talk about and the energy that you put out there. Your initial name for your podcast was Mental Warfare, and you were putting out a lot of those, not necessarily negative, but yeah, a lot of the things that we're struggling with. And I remember you talking about how the conversations that we're having are giving you are being more thought provoked than anything, and you didn't want to focus just on the warfare aspect of things.
Yeah.
Like they say, there's a difference between saying anti-war and pro-peace. Anti-war is two negative words in there, anti and war, where pro-peace is two positive words, right? So I like that you were talking about that, because I mean that's exactly what you were just saying. But Corey, talking about listening to your last episode, man, and having it hit all of the right frequencies of what we usually talk about. Your last episode, read the energy, not the words. I love that. You were talking about trusting your intuition, how to read someone's energy instead of focusing on what they're saying. And one of the things that you said that stood out to me was people get confused because they listen with their ears and not their spirit. I absolutely love that. Is that something that you've always been able to do, or is that something that you kind of grew to do or learned to do as you got older? Like, how did that come about?
Man, listen, I just hit that, just the last couple of years. And to be honest with you, man, I was like that yes man. I was that fixer, and it's like everybody depended on me, family, friends, whether it was for like money, help, or just talking. And I just felt like I was naive. I felt like, and then I just kind of been doing work on like trauma healing and all that. And I kind of realized like all the relationships, most of the relationships that I've been involved in, like my whole life, were like transactional relationships. So as long as I'm doing something for you, I'm pouring into you, or I'm giving you something, I'm helping you with a bill, or like somebody can have a business idea and come to me, and I would go do all the research and then come back and present it to them like on the silver platter. But because they didn't have to work for it, they didn't implement it.
They didn't appreciate it. Yeah.
Right. And so they didn't do it. But it's like, I just learned how to say no the last 2 years, to be honest with you. Like, it was hard. Somebody could say, hey, I need $100. I could have $120 and would just be like, man, get the 100 and I'll go figure it out. Like, I'll tell them I got 120, I'm gonna give you this 100, and I'll just go figure out how to come up with some more. And they'll just be like, okay.
Right.
And so it's just like, I just I felt like I was naive, but once I started this work and I started trusting me, I started having more confidence in who I was and what I was, and I wasn't afraid of being alone anymore, and being by myself. So when I fell in love with me and I found out that I could have like the utmost respect for myself, and it taught me how to set boundaries. And once I was able to set like healthy boundaries, like my whole life just started changing. It's like my circle got a lot smaller, but man, my peace got so much bigger. And so now that's like what success is to me. And I know that's one of the things y'all want to talk about, like success. Success to me is like, man, can I do this and still have peace? It's just like, it's not about money. Like, and to be honest, man, 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, trucking was booming. It wasn't nothing for like me and my wife to make $50,000 to $100,000 a month, and maybe half of it went to expenses. 25% went to employees, but then like 25%, man, we barely still saw anything. And so there was like, you making all this money, you got all this going, but then like, man, we're at each other's throat. I didn't have peace. I couldn't sleep. Like, still, sometimes you can make $100,000 in a month, but not even be able to put $5,000 in your household. So how does that even make sense? So then it's like, I got to go get more. I got to go get more. I got to go get more. And then it's like,
Spinning the wheel.
I'm chasing money, right? When you chase money, what's happening? Money's running
It's
away
running from you.
But
It's running from
right.
you.
And
Yep.
so then, instead of chasing money and chasing relationships, chasing approval, I started to embody like peace and be comfortable with who I was, and it just changed everything for me, to be honest with you.
Dang, bro. You know what's crazy is I just started understanding that concept of chasing. Now that I'm understanding more of doing and becoming. I listen to a lot of Myron Golden, and he used to say, do, be, have, or be, do, have. And I never really understood it to the capacity that I do now. And it's the same thing with that chasing, right? This being a podcaster or being an athlete, a coach, or whatever the case is. I just now accepted my title as coach. I used to be a professional basketball player, and I never saw myself as coach, never saw myself as a podcaster, dealing with that imposter syndrome. And I told Sean the other day, I was like, man, when we set this podcast up, I was like, man, I honestly feel like I'm becoming, right? Instead of chasing, and that's where the attraction comes, is the becoming part. Instead of going out there and try to acquire something that you aren't yet are. I'm mixing that up. But it's more so, instead of chasing the dream, you're following a dream. And that and the becoming part is what attracts the dream, instead of you going out and chasing it. Because I feel like with chasing the dream, that's where that stress and that lack of peace comes from. Because it's like, oh man, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, versus enjoying that process. And all of it ties in, man. So that's completely it. Chasing money. And I had a couple incidents in basketball. Now that I'm thought-provoked, now that I'm thinking about it, there was I was playing in Pro B France, and I had an opportunity to go to play in Pro A, which is the higher division, obviously, but the money was for less. So I was like, nah, I'm just going to stay in Pro B and get more money. When in hindsight, I should have went to Pro A and got the opportunity, which would have probably led me to more money in the future. But what was I doing? I was chasing money instead of chasing the opportunity. You know what I mean? And so that's what set me back. So that's huge, bro.
Going after the now instead of the better in the future, right? I feel like that's a common thing with a lot of people is staying with the comfort of right now, because what comes with change is discomfort, right? And a lot of people, they're not willing to accept giving up the comforts of now for the betterment of tomorrow. I know that's something that I struggle with, have struggled with in the past, and and like you said, Colin, I'm starting to look at things a little differently in life. What's the bigger picture here? What's the betterment overall, as opposed to that trade off of what's better right now? What's easier right now? It's kind of like going to the gym. It's hard to get going. It's hard to work out because it's hard. You get tired, you get sore. But what's better for you is starting now, so that way in the future you're going to be stronger. You're going to be in better shape. You're going to feel better overall, right?
Absolutely.
Go ahead. See, he's about to ask a question.
No, I was gonna say you touch base on how you define success now. How is it that you used to define success when you were younger?
And just money. And to be honest, like I come from a small town in Arkansas, so like I mean maybe 9,000 people, and everybody was kind of like judgmental. You just like if you didn't have the best or wear the best or look the best, and
What car is he driving? What clothes is he wearing? How much money's in his pocket?
Keeping up with the stigma.
So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, and even one of my buddies, we were talking about this a couple of days ago, and it's just like, man, it's just like we used to just spend so much money to look good, like to impress other people, and it's just like you'd spend and spend and spend, even if you couldn't even afford it, and it's like,
Right.
I mean, I could be in like it's so many people that may live in like public housing, right? But you got like a $60,000-$70,000 car, and it just kind of don't make sense to me, man. Like the government's paying for your house, but you got S500, sitting out in the driveway, and that's just kind of like the mentality. So for me, it was just like making all the money I could make, wearing, like all the nicest clothes I could wear, spending money that I didn't have on jewelry, just trying to impress, somebody else, and maybe, just to walk around and know I had money and just kind of be the big shot. So that was success to me, but like I just looked successful because I spent every cent that I made trying to impress people who didn't even care about me in the first place.
Right. Was there anything that happened that caused that change in mindset? Like we've talked about it on here before. For me, it was the birth of my daughter definitely made me start looking at things differently, coming away from that. Was there anything that happened to you that made you start changing how you viewed things, or was it just kind of something that happened over time?
No, I feel like, and again, I go back to this maybe 2 year ago, Mark, 18 months ago, just kind of when I was just coming at the end of like the trucking company that we had, and we had that in a couple of businesses, and it was going down. Like rates were really low, expenses were really high, like, and we were about to just lose everything, and we actually just gave it up, right, and just stopped, and it just you would think that like, man, you're getting all this money, you getting, all this going on, and you just walk away from it like you'd be devastated. I mean, I know people that's like been suicidal, after losing something like that. But to be honest, like I just felt like this strong level of peace. Like I just
Relief.
I don't even know. Like, yeah, and it's like money just really wasn't even coming in. Like for a long time, we didn't even really do anything after that. But it's just like bills still got paid, like other opportunities just started showing up in my mind, my wife's mind. Like we just kind of just started hustling, but then it's just like it just I can't even explain how things got paid now, or how we even went from making all that money and losing everything or giving up everything, and then just kind of starting completely over and just at peace. I don't know. We just felt so relaxed, so peaceful. We wasn't worried about, how this was going to get paid or how that was going to get paid. And like organically, like it just started working. I just can't explain it, but it's just like we started chasing peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and then it just kind of just then it just kind of got to me like, man, so this is something I could get used to. This is something that I could embody. You know, this is something that I'm trying to do. And so one thing that like changed for me recently is like, approval, seeking approval, right? Sometimes we don't even know we're seeking approval. And I work with like a lot of AI tools, and I'm getting ready to start doing consulting, like AI consulting. And so it's like, I was using tools and I was talking to like Claude. So I'm teaching him how to help, like help me build a GPT that'll kind of help people that's dealing with, things that like we're talking about right now. Like they don't know how to start. And this will kind of give them the questions to answer so he can kind of guide them. And then one day I'm just like talking to him, like doing like one of these sessions as if I was a client. And I'm just like, man, I'm trying to be a distinguished gentleman. I'm trying to be the best version of myself I can be. I'm trying to be the best husband I can be. I'm trying to be the best father. And then Claude was just like, man, Corey, cut the crap. Like, you're trying. He says, no, you don't have to try. Like when you're trying, you're waiting on somebody to give you the approval to be that. Like, man, listen, look at where you were 18 months ago. Look at where you were 2 months ago. Look at how you thought. Like you were in survival mode. You were a victim. Like you had a victim mentality. But now, man, you've done all this work. Like you're walking in peace, man. Like you've elevated long enough. And he was like, you've evolved, right? So, and then that transition hit me, man. Like I'm not elevate with Sage anymore, man. I'm evolved. So I've evolved. And so he was just like, instead of asking for permission and saying that you're trying, make a choice right now. Make a choice to be a distinguished gentleman.
To be.
Make a choice.
Key word.
To be. Right. So when you're trying, I'm trying, man. No, you're seeking approval.
Well,
you're asking for permission. But when you make a choice right now, I am a distinguished gentleman.
Yeah.
I do embody peace. Like I do have a successful mindset. I am walking in greatness. I choose, and it's my choice. Like it's instantaneous, man. Like it happens as soon as you say it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's accepting.
Make a choice.
Yeah, accepting the terms and conditions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Becoming.
Because you're your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're your own worst enemy. So you're not giving yourself the approval that you need. So make the choice.
You're inserting that wedge of doubt, which can grow and manifest in its own way. But when I think the way that you're wording it, that's the key to manifestation, is to truly believe what it is that you're saying instead of, having that little bit of a question, right?
Absolutely, bro.
And you got to own it, because like manifestation don't work from just words. Like you can go to bed every night. Yeah, you can just be like, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich.
It ain't gonna work,
man. If you don't believe it,
right?
If you don't believe it, if you don't feel it, if you can't just close your eyes and see yourself living that life, it's not gonna happen. Words is just not gonna work. Everything in you gotta believe it, know it, and then like I'm gonna tell you like that what I feel is like the most dangerous word ever invented was the word how. You can manifest everything, but as soon as you be like, how? Because
you're doubting the possibility.
How? That's the most dangerous word. Like, it is. Think of any situation, and if anybody asks you any question, and in your mind you're like, how? Man, it's already just, you just already put just so much doubtful energy in whatever you're talking about.
So how would you replace that? How would you replace that? How would you reframe that? I am. Those are the two most powerful words you could ever think of. Like, now, how is the most dangerous. I am are two of the most powerful words you can say. That's just my opinion.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
That's proven fact. I am. Because if you say I am, and you don't worry about it, man, that's walking in faith. That's faith.
Yeah, exactly.
Faith
Dang.
without works is dead, but just like
Yeah.
I am is walking in faith.
Right. That's
So
the impossible. Exactly. That's the I am possible. Everything is possible through God, concept. Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to go back and piggyback what you said about trying. Me and Sean, I talked about that. I remember I told you, Sean, that I was eliminating trying from my vocabulary because it invokes a sense of doubt and a sense of negative energy, right? And it's like, oh man, I'm trying, but I'm failing. You know what I mean? I'm trying, but it's not working out, right? And so I'm working on eliminating trying from my vocabulary. But I wanted to go back to what you said about evolving, because this was a literal thought that I had last night about even for myself that has dwelled in the past and just like, man, that lived in that woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? And it's like, not me 10 years ago, I wasn't in that mindset. I wasn't the same person that thought that way. I'm not the same person that behaves or acts in the way that I did before. So I had to let go of that and stop wishing that I was that, because it's exactly what you said. Look how far you've come already versus look at where you're at versus where you were. And you're not the same person. So why don't you apply what you are now and what you know now, what you wish you would have done prior, moving on, going into your future, moving forward, because that's ultimately who you are. And I think that me and Shauna talked about it as well. A lot of people forget about all of the obstacles that we've overcome. It's like we overcome one obstacle, overcome the next, and then we're almost waiting. And it's like we don't celebrate those wins. We don't pat ourselves on the back. And I mean, even waking up this morning was a win, right? And so it's like when God solves a problem, and I'm a victim of this too. When God solves a problem, it's like, okay, what's the next problem? It's always like we're looking for the next problem to be consumed by, versus celebrating victories, enjoying life, and being present in the moment, having the confidence that we're continuing to get better on a daily basis with that mindset, man. So I absolutely that's heavy, because I feel like a lot of us live and dwell in the past when we're not that same person anymore. When we've overcome a lot of that what we went through in our history, and so dope.
That's the difference between, like you were saying before earlier, Corey, is being in survival mode, and just thinking about, like you said, Kyle, all right, I got away from this problem. What's the next one that I got to deal with? What's the next thing that
Exactly.
that could go wrong? What else am I gonna have? What else is gonna come up that I have to try to get better at, or move, or even run away from? Trying to get away from those problems instead of addressing it, or just making those changes, those necessary changes in your life to where you don't have to deal with those type of problems. I love what you said about the whole, the two most powerful words being I am. That is such, I mean, that's a huge thing, and I think it's a game changer, but it's so hard to do sometimes, right? To enter that type of mindset. Yeah, I'm going to figure this out no matter what. I'm going to figure something out. Maybe it won't be exactly what I want it to be, but I'm going to get out of this situation one way or the other. I'm going to remove myself from these type of struggles, and I'm going to make things better in some way, shape, or form. And, Kyle, like we talked about, the quote from Master Oogway, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift, and that's why they call it the present. Living in the here and now is hard at first, but again, getting back to that analogy of going to the gym, once you start working that muscle, it gets easier and easier and gets stronger and stronger. And then, like you were talking about, Corey, then you start looking at every aspect of life like that. I'm going to focus on right here, right now. I'm going to get through what it is that I have going on, and I'll worry about or deal with whatever comes up later, when and if it comes up, right? Instead of just that mindset, like we were saying, that survival mindset. All right, what else is going to happen? What else is going to happen? Living in the moment, again, easier said than done, but once you start doing it, it just makes everything so much easier, so much better, I should say, in life. And I'm trying to focus on that myself, is not worrying about tomorrow as much. Obviously, you got to plan for certain things, but as far as what could come up that I'm going to have to deal with, it may not ever come up. It may not, the issues that I'm seeing may not ever arise. And then I spent all that time worrying and getting myself worked up, compiling, shaving time off of my life, because stress, we don't realize how much that affects us when we're stressing about things, especially the things that we can't control. If you can do something about it, then do something about it. And if you can't do anything about it, then there's no sense in worrying about it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like one play, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you go ahead, man. This is free land. This is all.
Yeah, we're just flowing.
Well, yeah. So I think for quite a while, like I've been studying like trauma bonding, emotional trauma, like just trauma, right? And I feel like a lot of people get comfortable in like misery. And so it's familiar. It's misery can feel safe. Well, it does. I mean, and this has been taught like it's like a leading psychiatrist that's really been like working with us, in this class or whatever. So it's just like that discomfort, that pain. Like you ever notice like somebody could be in an emotionally abusive, physically abusive relationship, but it's hard for them to leave. And they really love this person. They think they do. And it's just like something is keeping them there. And it's like they're trauma bonded in some kind of way. And so it's just like that becomes comfortable. It becomes the norm. Even though it's dangerous, it feels safe. But one cheat code that I've learned, like when I started like learning about Stoicism and how a lot of them, carried themselves like Marcus Aurelius, it's just kind of like, man, like one thing that I learned, instead of like running from danger or running from things that may feel uncomfortable, I run towards it. And I started doing these crazy exercises a couple of years ago, back in at the end of 2023. I started like brushing my teeth with my left hand in the morning. I'm right-handed. Just think about it. Just do everything with your left hand. Brush your teeth, right? And it might sound hard. It might sound simple. It might sound simple, but it's like
awkward, uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, really. Okay. And then after that, go take a cold shower. You know what I'm saying? If you could wake up in the morning and brush your teeth with your left hand and then go take an ice cold shower and get out, put your clothes on, you could handle any discomfort that comes for the rest of that day. And I started doing that. And y'all it might sound small. It might sound simple, but I guarantee you, like, you do that and then you celebrate yourself. Then when something comes up later on that day, no matter how crazy it was, I bet it won't be more uncomfortable than what you did that morning. So you already started the day overcoming. You started the day overcoming.
Off a win, yeah.
So you
that releases that dopamine into the system. That's absolutely. Have you done any research on is there any research or any science that backs that? Because I've heard of the cold shower method for so long, and that I don't think I have any backing on the correlation between overcoming something hard, because that makes sense. Now that you're saying it, taking a cold shower, overcoming something difficult, and then the left hand brush.
It's like an analogy. It's basically, those are just two examples, but it's basically like put yourself in an uncomfortable situation so that you'll learn how to be comfortable.
Set the tone for the day. Yeah.
Man, one thing, like I'm gonna tell you, one of the hardest things for me to do, like, used to be like to have a serious financial conversation with my wife. Like, and everybody that's married got a topic that they just don't feel comfortable talking about because you don't want it to lead to like an argument or misunderstanding, right? And I used to avoid it at all costs. I'd be like, you just do whatever, right? But now, like, the most hardest conversations that I had to have, I just do it. I just started. I'll even bring it up now, even though I might be dreading, and I used to dread it, but I'll just bring it up, and then it's just like I went on this like being like the most authentic version of myself. So I was like, I'm not gonna lie. I just started keeping promises, and my kids could be like, hey man, can we work on this Lego set, Saturday? And then I'll be like, yeah, but no, in my mind, I'm just saying yes, so they'll leave me alone. But like now, it's like, man, I said it, and they know that I'm trying to like be, and I said trying, but they know I'm being authentic and I'm keeping my word. And so like now, I'm gonna just do it, even if it's uncomfortable, even if I don't have time. If I said I was gonna do it, I'm just doing it. And so it's just like, instead of just just taking the easy way out and being quiet, go and do the most uncomfortable things. That's the only way you're gonna grow. You will never grow doing the same thing that you've always done.
That's why they call it growing pains, right? Because it hurts.
Just think about it. The hardest thing in your life that you've ever been through, it catapulted you. You can't grow if you're happy and comfortable all the time. Like if it's just peaches and cream every day, like no pain, no gain. Like you're not gonna grow. You're just not. And I can't quote a book or anything that'll tell you that. But I mean, that's just based on.
No, I've heard those concepts before, and I know the brushing your teeth with your opposite hand. It forces you to be present in the moment. It's a challenge. It's something that, brushing your teeth is something that you do every day, but the way that you're doing it has changed, and we get very comfortable with our
routines.
Routines and how we do things. So when you're brushing your teeth with your opposite hand, it forces you to be present. It forces you to concentrate on what you're doing, to think about the actions that you're actually taking. And I've definitely heard about, especially with cold showers, or a lot of people are getting into, cold plunges now,
face plunges too,
doing stuff like that.
On the small end too.
I used to do that. I used to fill a bowl with water and and dump ice in it and dump my face in there, because that shit sucks. Yeah, I was doing it every day too. So it forces you, not forces you, but when you seek challenge, it allows you to accept those type of things that arise in your life. So like you said, when you are choosing discomfort, it makes it easier to accept discomfort as it comes to you without that choice, right? There's nothing that the world is going to bring to me that I didn't choose to do to myself, right? And it sounds silly, something like a cold plunge or a cold shower, but turn that water all the way on cold and just stand there, even for like 10 seconds. That shit is hard. You have the power in your hand to turn it on hot, to turn it off, or whatever, and you're not doing it. You're forcing yourself to go through that struggle.
Start really hot and then go cold. And
that's crazy.
Right. It's tough. So I do that from time to time. If I'm taking a real hot shower, those last like 10, 15 seconds, I'll turn it all the way low. And, woo, here we go. Try to tough it through it. It's hard.
I've been trying to.
The shocks. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say real quick. Even with the shocks, like the dip in the face in the cold water, cold shower. Well, a lot of people don't realize, man, it shocks your central nervous system.
Yeah,
right. You know what I'm saying? It shocked that. So when you get that shock, and then now after you get that shock, you can reset. Now you're more grounded. You're more present. Like you said,
right.
You're more present.
Yeah.
And like you more focused, and now you like more in the zone. So I just feel like those are powerful moves.
Man,
absolutely.
So I wanted to ask, and this was one of my questions that I was going to ask you, what have you implemented in your routine that has been the contributing factors to your personal development? What do you do in the morning? What's your daily looking like? What are your non-negotiables?
And now I just invest in me every day. So if that means I got to get up early, so I go to the gym. I've dedicated like time to fix my body, like do better. To be honest, man, a couple years ago, I weighed 310 pounds. And so I like had high blood pressure, like pre-diabetic, had a whole lot going on, GERD disease, like acid reflux real bad. And sleep apnea machines every night. And so, man, I had to make a choice. I'm gonna die. To be, if we just being honest, I was close to I could have died any day. To be honest with you, and I was just gonna take the easy way out and just get surgery. My wife was just like, man, give me a year, just give me a year. Like, let's do this, naturally. And so we started a journey together. I mean, hell, she weighed 200 pounds back then, and yeah, and it just really, like, now I don't have to take blood pressure pills. I'm not pre-diabetic. I don't have to sleep with a sleep apnea machine. I'm sorry.
CPAP.
I just don't have. Yeah, I don't have any of the issues like health-wise that I had, and so like on the body level, that's one thing. But on the mind, man, I take time to be present. I take time to meditate. Like every day, I have to. Like in this like rituals, like the left, brushing my teeth with my left and shocking my, putting my face in the water every morning, and then just like actually when I wake up, I just make the bed. That might sound
It's a heavy one. Man, I just heard about that.
We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Make your bed. There's a book. I have
how you do anything is how you do everything, right? And it's a part of organization and structuring, programming the mind to be in that state of mind for the rest of the day. Man, that's huge, bro. Absolutely. I just lost my train of thought.
Make Your Bed by William H. McRaven. It's a thing.
Yeah, that's where I kind of got that concept from. That book right there. I just got that concept. And
okay, yeah.
Make your bed. It's a legit thing. You start the day off with a win, and those are some real important things. Like you said, it may sound simple, but seeking discomfort. Starting your day off with a win, just as simple as making your bed, being present, being in the moment, because especially when you first start the day and you're a working person, you start thinking about all the things that you got to do during the day, all the things that are going to come up. I got to be prepared for this. I got to be prepared for that. But if you don't take that time to counterbalance that and be in the moment, seek those challenges, get those early wins and start compiling those small wins and allowing those to build up throughout the day, as opposed to getting hit with the negative or seeking the negative, like we were talking about earlier, that compiles up too, and that's going to start its own little negative snowball, and the day just gets that much harder and harder. Absolutely. Where if you're focusing on those wins, you're focusing on challenging yourself and putting those checks in the win column, that is where that positivity compiles up even more, and it trumps that negative side.
Man, there's science backed by that, though, right? Scientifically, we talked about this before too, Sean. When you have a list and you visually check some of those things off of that list, there is a sense of dopamine released into the body. Like, man, I got something done, and
right.
Going back to waking up early in the morning, as far as like prepping your mind, it's super. I've told Sean this too, and even I've been struggling with getting up in the morning, being uncomfortable with fatigue. But when I do so, like, I have the morning for myself, and I have the opportunity to prep my mind and to release that good dopamine into the system before the kids wake up and all the chaos starts happening, right? And so then I'm more prepped. I'm more prepped for all of that to happen. And you got what 9 kids, right, Corey?
Yeah, I got 9.
Yes, I mean, yeah. You got 2 grandkids?
Wow. 3 of them.
3 of them. Oh man, congratulations, bro! Congratulations. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, send me a cash app, man. Nah, man, I love it. I love it, man. But yeah, 9 kids, 3 grandkids, but I still got 3 minor kids in the house. So I get what you're saying, man, and they can be a lot. So I like to wake up way before they wake up, just to kind of get my mind right and get ready for all of it. So I get what you're saying completely on that.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, Corey, you have a barbecue business, right? If I'm not mistaken, or did you have a barbecue business? Am I making that up?
Well, No, we used to have like a food truck, and we did, sell some barbecue at one point.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't. Yeah, now it's just like it stopped, and only for like special occasions or events or something we'll do something like that. But yeah, that's
All right. We'll talk about for those that are having an issue starting. You've got what seems like a go-getter hustler mentality. You started a trucking business, you had a food truck, and what is your mindset going into starting those things for those, and probably speaking for myself, that maybe have a fear of failing and all of that other stuff that comes with starting a business.
well. I mean, I can see that some people may have a fear of failing, and that's valid. But at the same time, like every business starts the same way with an idea, and so I like every time we get ready to start something, and we've started several things, and so like one of the first things I do, I'll sketch a logo, or I go to like a free logo generator. That's what I used to do. Now I can just flat out just make it, and it be really nice. I'll do my logo first, and I put that logo on the wall, and every day I see it. I see that I went to like CDL school just to start my own trucking company. I didn't go to CDL school to be a truck driver. I went to own a whole transportation business. But even now, like the journey, like our health journey, like we instead of me getting the surgery, like my wife, she found an herb called yerba mate, and she was just like, this herb is just like changing people's lives, and so we ordered some directly from South America, and we blended that with some other herbs, and it helped like lose the weight and lower the blood pressure, and got me out of the pre-diabetic stage. So she'll have these great ideas, and then I'm just like, okay, let me make a logo. And I made a logo, Corey T, and I ordered some labels. I ordered some nylon tea bags, and guess what I did? I took pictures. I'm just like, man, this has been helping. Family and friends started wanting it. I just started shipping it to everybody that wanted some. They started drinking it, and now we selling the crap out of it. TikTok, eBay, Etsy, people coming to get it in person. We even got a rock steady tee for men. It makes you feel like you're like 21 years old.
Hey, Roxy, he said rock steady tea.
Rock steady. Yeah, you ain't got to get ready if you got rock steady. My wife won't even let me. Hey, because I tried it, right? Her uncle, and then I hope he don't never see these, but he's like 70, and we sent him some. He was just like, man, I'm trying to get my. And man, after like a couple of weeks of drinking it, he called me. He was like, man, I've been knocking down everybody on the street. He was just like, man, Corey, I feel like I'm 20, man. Like it's, he was happy that it was up, and it was just like, man. So we actually got like a lot of stuff. We just found ways to help different people, and we're just adding that into our lineup. So I feel like if you got a business idea, like, man, create the logo, right? And write the vision. Like and I wish I could show you, I got journals everywhere. Like everything that you want that business to do, just write it down. Don't worry about how you're going to get the money.
Yeah.
Don't worry about how you're going to get anything. Just say, hey, I'm going to do it. Like, I didn't know how I was going to do anything. I just knew I was going to do it. Like the very first business I started was at 18. And it was just like I got a new Mustang and I kept it clean. Like so clean every single day I went to the car wash. So everybody was like, man, like your car stayed clean. Can you wash mine? And it took one person. I'll give you, and this was back in 1999. I'm like, I'll give you $25 if you wash my car. I'm like, park it right there. Now wash that car and clean it up. And guess what? She just went and told everybody, and everybody just started coming to me. And so it just kind of got big. I hired my brother. I hired one of my best friends, and then we rented a building and got on with another guy. Then one night it was just like a homecoming dance, and the club that the after party was supposed to be at shut down. So I was like, hey, get that DJ, tell him to come to our building. Like, let's get them over here. And man, that night, man, we got almost 10 grand in like admissions just because we had this old beat up detail shop, and we just threw a party and charged $10 a head. And like 11 o'clock, the line was still down. It was like $20 a head. Like midnight, $30. You know, so and it's just like that night, it just exploded, and just so it's just like anything can be turned into a business. You know, so like my son, like he's good at being a mechanic. I'm just like, man, don't go to school to be a mechanic. Go to school to open your own garage, right?
Mindset shift.
Hire a team. Like my daughter, like she's right now she's braiding, right? She's starting a braiding business, and then I'm just like, okay, we're not gonna stop at braiding. Like, have a goal to get a business, a building. I'm sorry. All right, let's set up 10 booths. Like around here, we just moved to Houston area. So like around here, man, people paying $150 to $200 a week just to sit in a chair and do hair, right? And so I was like, okay, you get a building, you have 10 stations, you got 10 people paying you $150 a week. Man, for one, you ain't never got a braid anymore after that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just small tweaks. Anything can be a business. Like even my son, Aiden, like he wanted to start a lemonade stand. So at our last big event we did in San Antonio, at our food truck, we introduced Aiden's lemonade, his recipe. He was like 7. And man, like he sold that for $5 a cup, and it outsold all of our stuff. So you just never know. Like anything could just be turned into a business. And now once you kind of start monetizing, like you just keep the momentum going, and then you just kind of get everything on paper. And a lot of people mess up, and they just be like, man, this is a side hustle. This is a side hustle, like the last event me and you were at. And I was talking to the Corbins, and I was talking to Miss Corbin, and she was like, this is our little hustle. I was like, nah.
It needs to be
That's not a hustle.
Yeah.
That's an actual business. And I was like, if you call it a side hustle, you
It's
give
gonna
it
be
side
you're
hustle
gonna treat it exactly. You're gonna treat it like a side hustle.
And I was just like, man, look at your branding. I was like, look at this presentation. Like that food was good, and you can eat because you kept on going in that platter. But like, I was just like, that's a full blown business. Like, don't call it a side hustle. Now, when it comes to legalizing, I mean, that's easy too. And anything can happen, like from LLC, EIN, like structuring it right, getting funding. Like, and this is stuff that I was helping people do for years, and not even like charging, or like people have me doing all this work. I'm helping you get EIN, LLC, structuring it correctly, business funding, like business credit, like walking them through all this. And then a lot of people, like if you do it for them, they don't respect it, and then they just, get a lot of money and just kind of screw it up and walk away. But like, I feel like anything could be monetized. That's just my take.
Bro, and nah, man. And that's what I wanted to ask, man, because, even for me, working for the man for years and transitioning from basketball to real life was a struggle for me, man. And, I fell into a little bit of depression, fell into that imposter syndrome. I'm just now understanding my value, understanding my worth, understanding what I have as far as expertise and what I'm able to leverage. And, I'm still struggling with courage, dealing with that how, right? And so you hit me with just don't worry about the how, put the faith in God. That's definitely a mindset shift. But going into something as far as credentials, because I'm it's crazy, because if I would have had this, or would have, could have, should have, right? If I would have had this before I started, because I got my training, I'm a CPT, right? So I'm a certified personal trainer. I went and got licensed for that, right? Then I got licensed for life insurance, right? And so I have credentials, but I never really leveraged them in the capacity in which you would put your mindset to leverage it. So, man, that's good stuff right there, bro. Expanding the mindset and reframing the way you approach things. Yeah.
Right.
Mindset's everything.
It is.
And
perspective.
like you were talking about. Right. You can gain perspective by having conversations, with people like Corey, and he was doing it for free for so long. And then he had to readjust his own mindset towards that. Like, man, I should be charging people for this because they're getting something from it. I'm giving them the knowledge, I'm putting them onto game, and then they're going off and doing something with themselves. That's a business right there, like you were saying. That wasn't even a side hustle or anything. You were just giving it out for free. Change that mindset. Excuse me, change that mindset, and then it could be something that, yeah, you start leveraging into a business. I think that's huge, man. Having that growth mindset, that business mindset, to be able to turn what it is that you're good at into a business for yourself, something that you can then, you get joy in doing that. Because like you were saying, Colin, when you work for somebody else, man, nobody's actually built to do that. If you get broken down to, hundreds and thousands of years ago, you were good at something and you did that for a living.
Trade.
You did it either for trade, or exactly. And that's what you would help provide. Either, you were a good hunter. You would go and hunt something, and then you would give that to the people in your village or your tribe or whatever it is. Other people were good at cooking or, building, whatever the case is. You find that thing that you're good at, and then figure out a way to turn it into a business. And that's where true passion is going to come in life, as opposed to, that depression of, man, I'm doing something every single day that I don't want to do. It doesn't bring me any satisfaction. It doesn't bring me any self-fulfillment. And if you do that for an extended period of time, and that's where that deep depression will really sink in. And I mean, who knows how you react to that over an extended period of time, right?
Yeah, man, that's good stuff, man. We're definitely gonna need a part 2 on this, man. The daily habits. You talked about programming. It was one of the things that I wanted to address, and that's something that Sean and I, we talk a lot about. The reason why we kind of started this podcast, and I'm sure why you started the podcast, is basically bringing awareness and perspective to the world that a lot of people are stuck in. Being driven and molded by society and, the rules of society and all the stigmas that we get caught up in. And so, talk about how we like that because you mentioned we often override, our feelings, due to whatever the case is, just basically the everyday grind, that hamster wheel. Like how, I guess it's kind of those piggybacks, the question that Sean had earlier. But how did you break that? Was there a moment that it was just like, man, I'm caught up in the matrix. I got to make this change. I got to start elevating my life. I got to start changing my identity.
Yeah, I just still feel like it goes back to the same time
thing.
frame.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's like you know that something's off, like the whole time. Like every one of us, like you could remember a moment when you were 5, 10 years old. Something felt off. Like something wasn't right. Like something your mom even said, or some way she even believed, like it just didn't resonate with your spirit. Right? And so you knew, so you just went through life like taking all these downloads. But then it's just like when you just kind of hit your lowest low, like your lowest point sometimes. It's designed for you to hit so you can wake up.
Yeah.
And so once you hit that lowest point and then you wake up, man, you just like, what do I have to lose?
Right.
Like what do I have to lose? And then you realize, like, dang, man, I was really like playing victim for a long time. I've really been in like survival mode. But then like I went through all that. I went through all those motions. I reevaluated all these relationships. Did a lot of shadow work, like revisiting things from when I was a kid. And it's just like a lot of people don't realize that if you don't start getting to the deep, to the core of the problem, you know what I'm saying, or the core of the beliefs, like
that's it right
you're just
there.
putting a Band-Aid on the gunshot wound. Yeah,
it's the beliefs.
Even my relationship with money, my relationship with money was bad. I had a poverty mindset. Even if I made $1 million in a year, right, every cent was gone. I'm gonna be honest with you, like, and that's all I can do. But when I started doing like the root work, like going back to the root of my problems, it took me all the way back to when I was 5 years old. The first time I could remember spending money, and it was just like hell. I was just taking money off like the dresser in my mom and dad's room, like just to go get candy. even when I wasn't supposed to. My dad had like a special cup of like silver dollars. And yeah, I grabbed them. I'm going to give me some candy. And it's just like, I need to hurry up and eat this candy so I don't get in trouble, right? But when he found out I stole from him and he found out I stole his money and went and bought candy, he beat the hell out of me, right? So what did that do? That created a trauma moment. So now it's just like I get grown. Even though this happened when I was 5, I'm 46. Like, man, like I get grown and it's just like I get this money. I need to hurry up and spend it, hurry up and get rid of what I've spent it on before I get a beating. And it's not dad beating me anymore. It's society or hurry up and get rid of it before somebody asks for it. So it's just like I was in a survival, mindset. I was in a poverty-based mindset, and I was operating out of a fear-based. And so I had to go back and revisit my relationship with money. And so now I don't even spend money anymore, and I don't save money anymore. I don't even believe in putting money in a savings account in the bank. I recirculate it. And guess what? Like I work a good job now that pays pretty good, 6 figures. But it's just like, instead of saving, like I'm learning about compound interest. I'm learning about investing. I'm learning about risky stocks. I'm learning about safe stocks. I'm learning about all kind of crazy stuff, man. And it's just like we got, even if it's like $20 here, $10 here, $20 here, $10 there, and it's just everybody be like, man, if I had, $1,000, I'll invest it in, Apple or whatever a long time ago. Like, man, okay, go take that $20 you about to spend at McDonald's and drop it on your compound interest.
The habits.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm learning, yeah. And so I started doing that, taking a lot of my check and just splitting it up, and then like the money we're making off the businesses, investing a lot of it, and so it's not spending or saving, it's recirculating, and that's
Putting your money to work,
longevity.
yeah.
That's legacy. Yeah, that's legacy. So I just didn't even understand wealth until about a year and a half ago, and then I had to just go through hell and go and drop all the way to the bottom, and now build my way back up. But like, stuff not important to me anymore. Like I don't have to go buy, a $500 jacket or $300 shirt and some $200 jeans. I don't care, man. I'll go in Ross. I'm 46, man. Who I got to impress? And I go in
Right.
Ross or Bells or Bills, whatever. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but man, they be having some nice $12 pants, and
Right.
it's just like I don't care. I just know that it's smarter ways to move these days, and once you start investing in yourself, watching your kids, your grandkids, or your family or whatever, you just like, man, like this. I don't want them to move like I move when they get older. So in order for them to move different, it's not gonna be by you telling them, bro. Like you can't just be like,
facts.
don't spend your money like I spent it. No, brother. It's like spiritual DNA, man. Like whatever you do, they're gonna mimic. They're gonna mimic
Right.
it. Like I got a son that don't even live with me, but we have a really good relationship. But he's never lived in the house permanently with me, right? Just one son, and he's more like me than any other kid. Like we like the same drinks, we like the same thing, the same food. Like he can play every instrument I can play. He's a hustler. He's it's just like a splitting image of me. Like our likes, like looks, like everything, the way he moves, like everything is just like me. But he's been around me less than any other child. So your kids are not gonna become what you tell them to become. They're gonna mimic you. You know what I'm saying? So like
Spiritual DNA. I love that.
Yeah,
Man, that's
tell
that's.
me.
Go ahead.
And man, like it's just. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah,
but
you're
it's
good.
just
I'm gonna remember.
yeah, that's real. And so like on like with Evolve with Corey, my biggest thing on this next season is, identity. And I can touch on something real quick. Like me, the crazy thing, bro, like I found out who my like biological father was just when I was 41 years old. You know what I'm saying?
That's
It
different.
shook me to my core. Yeah. So like my whole life, I'm thinking one dude, one man is my father. And to be honest, like he was abusive. He was crazy. Like he was bad. And I always felt like a stepchild. And so
That's crazy.
now I realize that hell I was a stepchild. And
Right,
so,
right.
and
Did he know?
who the first dad? We're gonna say first
Yeah.
dad, the one I grew
Yeah.
up with. Yeah, he knew. And then I'll tell you something that and he was wild. And so like even when I found out and I went to talk to him, dude, you know, I broke down. Like this broke me down, like crying, literally tears.
Right.
And I went to him and I told him like I know the truth. And you know what his biggest concern was? He was like, man, please don't tell nobody. Like he didn't want nobody to know that, you know, that I wasn't his biological son because he'd be embarrassed because he's been raising somebody else's kid.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
heavy. You
that's just
can't make that up, man. You can't make that up.
No, and it's emotional and that's kind of just like so my whole identity was shifted. So this is something that happened, you know, maybe 5 years ago. And so I went through like a whole 2 years of like depression, like dang, like bro, I wouldn't even want it. Like I'm like, man, that dad didn't really even want me. You know, my real dad could have came, but you know he didn't, and he didn't want me. But like we reached out to each other. I found him, and we took a test and confirmed, and he's been making a like he did apologize and he owned it, and he's been trying to show up. So I'm not gonna put nothing out in the public saying like he's a shitty guy or anything like that because he's not. And things happen, but it was just a lot. So like just think like my whole identity, like half of everything I've ever known in my whole life was a lie. You know, so that 2 years, so y'all keep saying like what made you? So that like 2 years of just going through that and then the stress of everything else, like on that kind of level, it broke me, man. And it's making me kind of emotional right now talking about it, but it broke me to my core, right? And like some days, man, I didn't even care if I woke up, bro. Like I didn't even care if I woke up. And
What was the point? What's the meaning of it all?
Yeah, and I had a big insurance policy. I'm like, man, I'm worth more dead than I am alive. Like if I died tonight, like they would be set, and they would be good, and it just broke me. And so, for me to pick myself up, and really start doing the work, and really just jump back in and go, you know, I have to commend myself, you know, and I'm proud of me, you know, for not allowing myself to die, you know,
checking out.
And that's why my health was so bad. Like that's why I got so much weight on me. Like it just that's how bad it affected me, and I was literally killing myself. And so, man, and nobody else could save me. Nobody. I had to be the one to save me. I had to put in the work to save
Be the hero of your own story, yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, I just got chills, man, and that's heavy because, I mean, that goes along the same lines of like nobody's coming to save you. You know, everyone is dealing with their own demons, and everyone is dealing with their own problems in their life. There is nobody to come to save you. You know, so you have to be the one to save yourself. But not only that, you're the only one that can make decisions for yourself. There's nobody that can make decisions for you. And so, you know, Sean and I, we talk a lot about that, you know, being the hero of your own story. And, you know, that's heavy. And that's why, you know, for me, it's very important for me to have, you know, God in my life. Because when you go through moments like that, he's the one that shows that support and that care that you were missing. He kind of fills that void that all of us are missing at some point in our lives, that all of us have dealt with trauma in one way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter. But it's about, you know, deciding to be better. And you did that, bro. And I think I think getting to a point to where you feel proud of yourself is huge too. You know, and I think that is a testament or a reflection of establishing inner peace. So, I mean, congratulations to you, because I'm still trying to find that self that self pride within me, being proud of, I'm still on the foundation of trying to build up. But, Sean and I talked about this, and, this year, last year, 2025 being that, that layer of foundation. We talked about construction and how you got to get in any type of structure, you have to demolish that structure before you rebuild anything new. So that's the breakdown. That's what you went through. You going through with your finding out what your father went through. That was the breakdown. That was the demolish. But then you were able to find yourself and layer that foundation, and now you're in the building phase. And so that's what's up, man. And all of us need to find that point to where we are taking actions against the grain. Because on the other side of the fence is where we feel good about achievements. Keeping our word to ourselves. Doing hard things and overcoming all the obstacles that test us in life, and going through those obstacles like you talked about versus running from them, bro. So that's dope. Yeah. But I wanted to go back real quick and talk about that spiritual DNA. And I've told Sean about this because I feel like I felt like this, and you just kind of just confirmed my beliefs. But I've always told Sean about that movie Dragonheart, right? Sean, you know what I'm talking about? You seen Dragonheart before? What's Sean
Connery?
Oh, Sean Connery. I thought you were frozen for a minute. Sean Connery.
Nah, I'm man. He rocked my world with everything that he was just saying. So I was just mulling all that stuff over and kind of putting myself in that position. Sorry to cut you off, man. But that story that blew my mind, man. That was so deep, and I really appreciate you sharing that with us, man. Because so many of us have so many traumas that we hang on to, and kind of like what you were talking about earlier, we start to identify ourselves as somebody that has gone through those things that we've gone through. And for you to get to a point of, kind of questioning it all and being able to pick yourself back up, as they say, man's search for meaning is one of the hardest things that we can go through is trying to find our purpose in life. Who are we? What are we? What are we here for? And for you to get to that lowest point and then work through that, work past that, and start building yourself up. And like you said, you got 9 kids, you got 3 grandkids, and you didn't cash out. You didn't check out. You didn't give up.
Yeah.
That's man, it just blew my mind, thinking about it, because I know I've known people that have checked out. I've known people that haven't been able to handle those things, and for you to do it in the way that you have and be where you're at today, man, I just commend you for that. That is one of the biggest things that anybody can go through and come out the other end. So yeah, again, I appreciate you sharing that. The movie that you were talking about, Kyle, Dragonheart, Dennis Quaid and Sean Connery.
Sean Connery was the dragon. Yeah,
he was the dragon. That was early '90s, I think. Well, talking about the dragon that shares a heart with the evil prince,
exactly.
Right?
Yep. It's a prime example of what Corey was talking about as far as spiritual DNA. And I feel like that with my son. There's just and I've even noticed a shift. As I've continued to shift my identity, on my personal development, man, I swear, man, I've seen a shift in his behavior, and the way, that he's moving, the way that he's handling things. And so you saying that just confirmed my belief, and that hits hard. I'm gonna hold that close, because you're essentially saying that, we are responsible for our children's success, and it starts with us. It starts with, it starts with laying that foundation and paving that way personally. It starts with us, being the heroes of our story so they can be the heroes of theirs. So that's heavy, bro. That's heavy. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
I mean, this is real. That's real to me.
Yeah, man. And again, man, like Sean said, to piggyback what he said, I appreciate you coming on here, being vulnerable, man, because that's real, man. I've been around a lot of people that that had that facade of acting like they are better than they are, as far as like how life is going, acting like they have more than they do. and that's just that just puts a block or a barrier in the bridge of connection. You know what I mean? And so you can sense that, right? You can sense that energy. So with you being able to come on here, it shows that you've healed that part of yourself, because not being able to disclose that information shows that you're not yet over it. You know what I mean? So appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, man. We got to close it out. We got an hour 20 minutes in the books, man. Let our audience know where they can find you, brother.
Well, right now, man, everything is being converted to Evolve with Core. There's still some stuff that says Elevate with Sage, but I'm on all the Apple Music, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. I am a teacher on Insight Timer now, so I'm getting meditation tracks and stuff like that done on that. We'll be launching a website soon, evolvewithcore.com, and email is live, grow@evolvewithcore.com, and be looking out, for just whatever. Also, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those will be going up too. And I'm sorry, it just caught me like in the middle of the transition phase. So I kind of don't want to say like go look for Elevate with Sage when it'll be like Evolve with Core. But
that's all
if
good
it's
though.
meant for somebody to find me, they'll find me if it's meant for them to connect.
Man, I got one last question for you, man, because you've got a lot going on, and this is for me, but I know if I'm feeling this way, there's somebody else out there feeling this way. I've caught myself in such an analysis paralysis frame of mind, and it's hindered my growth, because I've got all of these things, these ideas that I want to accomplish. And I'm finally starting to be able to incorporate all of it. But how do you attack all of what you do and get as much done as you do?
Well, I have ADHD for one. But it's just like, man, to be honest, I used to just run, and it's just like, if you running without structure, then you just making a mess. You're running in circles, right? So now, man, like, I've started like utilizing my time, like, and I stay true to myself. I stay true to my word. Like, if I say, hey, tomorrow I'm working on this and this and this, so it's all about planning and making a promise to myself that I know I'm not gonna break. Right. So if I say, hey, all right, so Monday, man, we getting up at 5, we're going to the gym, leaving the gym at 6:30. If I'm off, like, okay, get the kids ready, I'm gonna help you drop them off at school. Then, I might go do 2 hours on the podcast, 2 hours of studying, and every day I'm going to read, because like everything you want to know about anything is in the book. So I'm going to read every day. And I'm going to make sure I'm journaling, make sure I got time for myself. Even if the house is chaotic, you need to go sit in the car for like 30 minutes and just kind of recenter and refocus and regroup, jump back in it. So I would just say structuring your days. And then it's a lot of tools out here to help you do that. And so, like I told you, like, I'm just really diving into a lot of AI tools now. And so, man, I turned AI into a team. Right? Like, it's like I got 50 people working for me using just a handful of apps. Like, I got a whole team. And like, I know we were texting, and I was just like, I'm working on this website. And when I'm done with it, I'll send it, and you'll see like so much is going into everything that I'm doing, and it's like my whole team I'm doing it myself, but being guided, because everything I do the first time I want to do myself like thoroughly to learn, so that I can recreate it, and then I'm also be doing it for other people. You know what I'm saying? So that's another business opportunity as well. So I don't know. It's just like, do what you love to do, and then it'll be easy to do it. Like, everything I'm doing now, I love it. Even I have a job now where I'm working for somebody, even though I feel like it's one of the best jobs I ever had in my life. I still didn't like the idea of going back and being employed. And so even talking to my therapist chat, like my therapist AI tool, like I'm just like, man, I don't want to be doing this for long or whatever. And then he was like, okay, let's shift the mindset. Let's shift the focus. Instead of looking at that like a job, man, look at them like your investor. So the job became my investor. And then I was just like, man, and once I realized that, it's just like, man, like now I love going to work because I get to just kind of do what I want to do, and I'm at peace. I'm by myself. Like I'm packing up all my equipment and I'm going for 5 days, right? And so like I'm working for a few hours. Now I'm stopped. Then I'll pull out my computer and I'm working. You know what I'm saying? And I'll get back to going. And it's like I'm doing these routines, but I got a strict schedule. And if I make myself a promise, I'm not breaking. That's just my word to myself, and that's how important it is. So if you say you're getting up tomorrow at 5, well, like, get up at 4:45 and don't hit snooze. And that's just how serious I am about it. So
I
my
think
word to me means more.
I think there's something subconscious about that, though. It's one thing to, hold yourself accountable in your word to other people, but I think it's more important to hold your word to yourself. And I still struggle with that a little bit too. Yeah. And I think when you don't hold your word to yourself, and this is from experience, you're subconsciously letting yourself down. And that's that's negatively draining to, the rest of your day, especially if it's something that you're trying to accomplish in the morning.
But you're also showing everybody else how to treat you. You're giving everybody else permission to do the same thing that you do to yourself. You're giving that's the energy that you're putting out. So if you break a promise to yourself, man, like somebody gonna break a promise to you. So if you can't be, if you don't, I'm not gonna say if you can't be strong enough, but if you don't start setting boundaries that even you won't cross, then you won't set boundaries for the other people in your life.
And your subconscious will start to accept the fact that you don't keep your word, so it's not a big deal. This happens all the time. But if you choose to make that an unacceptable thing, then like you said, that's what you're putting out into the universe. That's what other people are going to pick up, and they'll start treating you as in that way, in that manner, as opposed to, this guy, he says it, but he's not that serious about it.
Right.
But
that's huge.
Real. The energy behind it is everything, man. Like if you lie to yourself, if you say I'm gonna start going to the gym next week and you don't go, man, you told yourself a lie. But you also just gave somebody else permission to lie to your face and break your heart. Right? That's if you say you're gonna start feeding your body, man, your body, remember trauma, you lie to your body, man, like that lie gonna turn into some kind of other energy and store itself in your body. You know what I'm saying? So like you have to just it's real. Trauma is real. Like trauma is science. It ain't no, running around it. So like that's just how important it is to like prioritize yourself. And that's something I never did. Like if I say, hey, I'm getting up tomorrow and I'm going to the gym at 6 o'clock, but then somebody call and be like, hey man, let's go hang out at 6. I used to, back in the day, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go. And just forget about what I had to do. And I just broke a promise to myself.
I'll do it tomorrow.
I'll
do it the next day.
I just allowed myself to get ran over. But so no, that's how serious you gotta be about keeping your word to yourself. And then keeping your word to your family. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just that important, man. I can't even put enough emphasis on how important it is to put yourself first. Like love yourself more than anybody else can love you. Respect yourself.
Invest in yourself, like you said earlier. Yeah.
Every day. It's gotta be every single day. And the more you do it, like the more you're just gonna elevate, evolve into who you're really supposed to be.
Yeah, bro. Last question. What books are you reading right now? And what? Who do you listen? Do you listen to any podcasts? Who do you listen to for personal development? What books do you reading for personal development, or whatever books that you are reading to develop your businesses?
Well, as far as books, right now I'm reading maybe for like the third time, man, like The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murray. Man, that's probably like one of the most powerful books I ever read. in my life, and it'll just kind of like really change your perspective on so many things. But then there's a book called The Four Agreements that I'm
Yep.
reading again.
I got that.
his,
Yep.
yeah, I got his whole like set. But one strong book that I just got done reading again, The Way of the Superior Man. Man, like that's a game changer for every
right.
man. I feel like every single man in the world needs to read The Way of the Superior Man. And you
Man.
might think it's barbaric and all that. It's not, man. It's basically touching on like what it is to be a real man, like that distinguished gentleman, breaking down true masculine and true feminine energy. It's not about
Right.
being barbaric, but it's about being a man that first respect himself and his woman
Right.
and his kids and his community. Like being a stand-up guy, like even when nobody's looking. And that's something I adopted, like that integrity. Like always do the right thing even when nobody's looking.
Well, there's always somebody
Yeah,
watching,
every
right?
single
Yeah,
day.
absolutely.
I have a similar book, As a Man Thinketh, and that sparked that same thing in me. To who am I, even when nobody else is around? Because that's your true self, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. I love it, man. Thank you so much for coming on here. This was huge. You got Kyle told me about your guys' conversation beforehand, so I already knew some of the heat that was going to come in this, but you even surpassed that, man. So you really got the juices flowing with me. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, no problem. No
Yeah,
problem,
no, we're
man.
definitely
I'm
we
glad
definitely
to be here.
Yeah, man, we definitely got to link up again, man. Being thought provoked is ultimately that's where my passion is, and you've just helped me refresh my mind on the things that I'm passionate about, and to continue to pursue. I'm always asking for clarity, and God is always answering my prayers, man. And so, again, thank you for taking the time out of your day to link up, bro. Appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely, man. No problem, man.
All right.
All right. Till next time, right?
Absolutely.